Ladies and gentlemen, there is a profound truth in the idea that maintaining your vitality, your heat, if you will, and your power is not merely about superficial appearances or fleeting pleasures. It is about the sustained cultivation of discipline, character, and meaning. To stay hot is to stay alive in every sense, mentally, physically, and spiritually. To stay powerful is to wield control over your own destiny, not by dominating others, but by mastering yourself. Take radical responsibility for your health. This phrase may sound straightforward, even obvious, but its implications run deep, and its practice demands more from you than casual acknowledgement. Health is not something that happens to you passively, nor is it a mere background condition for your life. It is the very foundation upon which all your efforts, all your aspirations, and all your capacity for meaningful action rest. Without a well-functioning body and mind, your ability to pursue anything worthwhile is diminished. Your energy wanes, your focus falters, and your resilience cracks. To take radical responsibility means to stop seeing your health as an external circumstance, or as something controlled by chance or genetics alone. It is to recognize that, while you may not control every biological factor, the overwhelming majority of your health outcomes are the result of your choices about how you treat your body day in and day out. This responsibility is radical because it demands that you face uncomfortable truths about your lifestyle habits, and that you commit to change even when it is difficult, inconvenient, or boring. Begin with sleep. Sleep is not a luxury or a reward for productivity. It is a biological necessity that your brain and body require to function optimally. Yet in a culture that glorifies busyness and sleeplessness, many sacrifice rest for short-term gains. This is a grave mistake. Without sufficient and consistent sleep, your cognitive function declines, your emotional regulation suffers, and your immune system weakens. The effect is cumulative. Each night of lost sleep chips away at your vitality. To take radical responsibility here means establishing non-negotiable sleep routines. It means creating an environment conducive to rest, dark, cool, quiet, and resisting the siren call of screens and distractions late into the night. It means prioritizing sleep over social media, over extra work hours, over late-night entertainment. Next, consider your nutrition. What you eat is not merely fuel. It is information to your cells. The choices you make at every meal send signals about how your body should function, repair, and grow. Radical responsibility here means educating yourself about how food affects your energy, your mood, and your long-term health. It means resisting the easy temptations of processed foods that offer immediate gratification but long-term damage. Instead, it means embracing whole, nutrient-dense foods that support sustained energy and cellular repair. It requires planning, discipline, and sometimes sacrifice, declining convenience for quality, resisting cravings for short-lived pleasure in favor of lasting strength. Exercise, too, is a pillar of responsibility. The human body is designed to move, to challenge itself, and to adapt. Sedentary living is a silent killer that saps strength, destroys metabolic health, and dulls the mind. Taking responsibility means not only recognizing the importance of regular physical activity, but making it a sacred part of your routine. This does not mean chasing every fitness fad or overexerting yourself, but committing to consistent movement that improves cardiovascular health, builds muscle, and enhances flexibility. Exercise is also a psychological tool. It sharpens your discipline, boosts your confidence, and strengthens your ability to endure challenges, both physical and mental. Furthermore, radical responsibility for your health includes understanding and managing your stress. Chronic stress is corrosive, impairing immune function, disturbing sleep, and clouding judgment. Taking responsibility means developing skills to recognize when you are overwhelmed, and taking deliberate steps to restore balance. Whether through meditation, journaling, physical activity, or meaningful social connection, managing stress is not a passive process, but an active commitment to protect your health. Lastly, this responsibility involves regular self-monitoring and seeking help when needed. It means paying attention to the signals your body sends, fatigue, pain, mood changes, and not dismissing them as trivial. It means visiting healthcare professionals proactively, not just reactively, and advocating for yourself in the pursuit of well-being. Radical responsibility rejects victimhood. It embraces agency. In sum, taking radical responsibility for your health is a profound act of self-respect. It acknowledges that your body is the instrument through which you experience life's fullest possibilities. It is a commitment to honor that instrument with disciplined care, constant awareness, and unwavering resolve. When you do this, you do more than preserve your vitality. You amplify your power to engage with the world meaningfully and courageously, set boundaries and enforce them without apology. This advice, while it may sound simple, strikes at the core of personal power and integrity. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define where you end and where others begin. They are essential for preserving your time, your energy, and ultimately your sense of self. Without clear boundaries, you become vulnerable to being pulled in directions that dilute your focus, drain your resources, and erode your confidence. To set boundaries is to make a statement: I am a sovereign individual. I have the right to determine what I will tolerate and what I will not. It is not about being rigid or inflexible. Rather, it is about having a well-defined sense of what is acceptable and what is harmful to your well-being. Many people struggle with this because it involves saying no, and saying no is often culturally framed as selfish or confrontational. But the truth is that without boundaries, you become a victim of circumstance and other people's agendas. You lose your power. When you enforce boundaries without apology, you affirm your worth and your priorities. It is a form of honesty, both to yourself and to those around you. To be clear, enforcing boundaries doesn't mean you must be harsh or unkind. It means you communicate your limits firmly and consistently, and you don't backtrack out of guilt or fear of conflict. Every time you cave on your boundaries, you teach others that your limits are negotiable, and your authority over your own life weakens. This is especially true in how you manage your time. Time is the most finite resource you possess, and how you allocate it speaks volumes about what you value. If you find yourself constantly saying yes to requests, invitations, or demands that pull you away from your essential goals or restorative practices, you are likely not protecting your boundaries effectively. It takes discipline and courage to decline politely, but firmly. It means learning to prioritize your own commitments and recognizing that your presence in any area of life is a valuable and limited commodity. Energy is another critical domain where boundaries must be set. Emotional energy, mental focus, and even physical stamina can be quickly depleted if you allow others to drain you without restraint. Toxic relationships, endless interruptions, or compulsive people-pleasing behaviors are common culprits. By setting boundaries, you create a protective shield around your well-being. You decide who deserves your attention and what kind of interactions are acceptable. This doesn't mean you isolate yourself or reject empathy. It means you conserve your energy for what and who truly matter. Emotional boundaries also play a crucial role in maintaining your psychological health. You are not responsible for the moods, demands, or problems of everyone around you. While compassion is vital, it should not come at the expense of your own stability. Setting emotional boundaries means recognizing when others are attempting to offload their anxiety or manipulate your feelings, and choosing not to absorb that weight unnecessarily. This is a difficult skill that requires self-awareness and practice, but it is indispensable for long-term resilience. One must also understand that enforcing boundaries is a continuous process, not a one-time declaration. Life will test your limits repeatedly, often in subtle ways. The challenge is to remain vigilant and to reinforce your boundaries whenever they are threatened. This persistence communicates strength and self-respect. It also cultivates an environment where others learn to respect you and your values. Importantly, setting boundaries without apology is an act of humility as well as strength. It means you acknowledge your limitations honestly, rather than pretending you can handle everything or please everyone. It means valuing yourself enough to refuse to be exploited or overwhelmed. This humility keeps you grounded and prevents the prideful trap of overcommitment and burnout. Ultimately, the ability to set and maintain boundaries is foundational to personal power. It creates the conditions for meaningful work, genuine relationships, and authentic self-expression. Without boundaries, your efforts scatter. With boundaries, your energy concentrates, and your life aligns with your deepest values. You become the architect of your own existence, rather than a passive participant in the chaos of external demands. Pursue meaning over pleasure. This is a principle that runs counter to much of what modern culture promotes, yet it is one of the most profound ways to cultivate enduring power and vitality. The world around us constantly offers immediate gratification, an endless buffet of pleasures, designed to capture your attention for moments, hours, or days. But these fleeting pleasures, while enjoyable, ultimately leave a hollow emptiness in their wake. Meaning, on the other hand, is a deep, sustaining force. It is what anchors you in the face of chaos, what drives you through hardship, and what cultivates a sense of purpose that outlasts the moment. Pleasure is a sensation, a temporary spike in dopamine, a fleeting reward to the brain's reward system. Meaning is an orientation, a way of organizing your existence around values and commitments that transcend momentary desires. To pursue meaning over pleasure is to prioritize the long game. It means resisting the siren call of the easy and the immediate in favor of the difficult and the lasting. Why is this so important? Because pleasure, in its excess, is a form of distraction. It pulls you away from responsibility, from growth, from the hard work of becoming someone who can contribute something valuable to the world. Pleasure without meaning is like eating candy to fill a hunger you don't understand. It momentarily satisfies, but leaves you emptier than before. This is why so many people today report a sense of dissatisfaction or malaise, even while surrounded by comforts and distractions. They have chased pleasure, but never discovered purpose. Pursuing meaning requires clarity about what matters most to you. It demands that you identify goals and ideals that compel you forward, even when motivation wanes or obstacles arise. Meaning is forged through commitment to a craft, to a relationship, to a set of principles, or to a mission. When you orient your life towards something meaningful, the hardships become bearable, even welcome. They transform from being obstacles into stepping stones, challenges that shape your character and deepen your resolve. There is a psychological truth here. The human mind is wired to find fulfillment through purposeful engagement. When you engage deeply in something that matters, you experience a state of flow, where time dissolves, and your capacities are fully activated. This is the antidote to boredom, anxiety, and despair. Meaning provides a framework through which you interpret suffering and setbacks as parts of a larger narrative of growth and achievement. To live meaningfully also means embracing sacrifice. Meaningful pursuits often require you to forego immediate pleasures, be it social distractions, indulgent habits, or avoidance of discomfort, in favor of sustained effort. Sacrifice is not a loss, but an investment. It is the price paid to cultivate a life of integrity, mastery, and influence. Every sacrifice contributes to building the kind of identity that withstands the tests of time and pressure. Moreover, meaning is not found in isolation. It often emerges through connection, to family, to community, to something larger than oneself. Relationships grounded in shared values, collective goals, or mutual responsibility amplify the power of meaning. They provide support during difficult times and multiply the joy in moments of success. Choosing meaning over pleasure is not a denial of happiness. Rather, it is the pathway to a deeper, more resilient happiness. It aligns your life with your highest potential, rather than settling for transient delights. It asks you to live consciously, to weigh your choices carefully, and to dedicate yourself to what will endure beyond the ephemeral. In sum, the pursuit of meaning is a profound act of will. It is a refusal to be swept along by the currents of distraction and superficial satisfaction. Instead, it is a deliberate, courageous commitment to living a life that matters, one built on values, responsibility, and vision. It is through this pursuit that you become truly powerful, truly alive, and truly hot, in the fullest sense of the word. Cultivate emotional resilience. This is one of the most vital, yet often overlooked, qualities for staying hot and powerful in the face of life's inevitable challenges. Emotional resilience is not simply about enduring hardship or suppressing pain. It is about developing a capacity to confront suffering with clarity, to absorb shocks without fracturing, and to emerge from adversity stronger and wiser. Life, by its very nature, is unpredictable and often harsh. Those who succeed are not those who avoid pain, but those who learn to face it head-on and integrate it into their being. To cultivate emotional resilience, you must first understand that pain, disappointment, and struggle are fundamental aspects of the human condition. No one is immune to setbacks or losses. To expect otherwise is to live in denial, setting yourself up for greater suffering. Instead, acknowledge the reality of suffering as a teacher, a force that when properly engaged, refines your character and sharpens your insight. This acceptance is not passive resignation, but an active engagement with life's difficulties. Emotional resilience requires that you develop awareness of your inner emotional landscape. This means becoming skilled at identifying and naming your feelings, rather than suppressing or being overwhelmed by them. When you can observe your emotions with a degree of detachment, you create space for rational thought and deliberate action. This self-awareness allows you to respond rather than react impulsively, which is crucial for maintaining control and power in stressful situations. Building resilience also involves developing healthy coping mechanisms. Many fall into destructive patterns, substance abuse, avoidance, denial, because they lack the tools to process emotional pain. Instead, cultivate habits that promote recovery and growth. These might include practices such as mindfulness, journaling, physical exercise, or seeking supportive relationships. Each of these strategies helps regulate your nervous system, preventing emotional overwhelm and promoting mental balance. A key aspect of resilience is the ability to reinterpret adversity. Cognitive reframing, seeing setbacks not as failures, but as opportunities for learning, transforms your experience of hardship. This mindset does not deny the difficulty of pain, but empowers you to extract meaning from it. When you view challenges as essential components of your growth, you shift from victimhood to agency. You become someone who meets life's storms with determination rather than despair. Furthermore, emotional resilience is strengthened by cultivating a strong sense of purpose. When your life is anchored by meaningful goals and values, you are better equipped to endure hardship without losing direction. Purpose provides a guiding light during dark times and fuels your motivation to keep moving forward despite obstacles. It transforms suffering from an arbitrary burden into a meaningful struggle. It is important to recognize that resilience is not about emotional hardness or emotional suppression. True resilience includes vulnerability, the willingness to be open and authentic about your struggles while maintaining your core strength. This balance between vulnerability and strength allows for connection with others, which in turn provides support and perspective. Isolation intensifies suffering, while connection buffers it. Resilience also involves learning from past experiences. Each difficulty you endure holds lessons that, if reflected upon honestly, increase your capacity to handle future trials. This iterative process of confronting, integrating, and growing through adversity gradually builds an inner fortress. This fortress is not impenetrable, but it is flexible and adaptive, a dynamic strength that can bend without breaking. Ultimately, cultivating emotional resilience is a deliberate, ongoing practice. It demands courage to face discomfort, honesty to acknowledge pain, and discipline to maintain habits that strengthen your emotional core. But it is through this rigorous development that you maintain your power and your vitality, regardless of external circumstances. In a world full of uncertainty and turmoil, emotional resilience is your anchor. It is the psychological bedrock that sustains your fire and fuels your ability to act with intention and strength. Without it, even the sharpest intellect or the strongest body can falter. With it, you become an unshakable force, hot, powerful, and alive in the truest sense. Surround yourself with people who challenge and elevate you. This principle is fundamental, yet often underestimated in its power to keep you hot, powerful, and constantly growing. Human beings are inherently social creatures. We are shaped profoundly by the company we keep. Our habits, our thoughts, and even our identities are deeply influenced by those around us. To remain vibrant and strong, it is not enough to rely solely on your own willpower. The environment you inhabit must reflect and reinforce the values, standards, and ambitions you hold. Choosing your social circle deliberately is an act of self-preservation and self-enhancement. If you surround yourself with individuals who are complacent, negative, or dismissive of growth, their attitudes and behaviors will gradually seep into your own life, diluting your potential and undermining your motivation. Conversely, when you engage with people who hold high standards, who push you intellectually, emotionally, and morally, you create a crucible for transformation. These are the people who will not let you settle for mediocrity, who will confront you when you stray from your path, and who will celebrate your progress with genuine enthusiasm. Challenging relationships are not comfortable or easy. They require honesty, accountability, and sometimes confrontation. Yet it is precisely this discomfort that fosters growth. When someone challenges your ideas or points out your blind spots, it forces you to reevaluate, to strengthen your reasoning, or to admit your mistakes and improve. Without this friction, complacency sets in. Growth demands a certain tension, a productive struggle that stretches you beyond your comfort zone. Elevation comes not just from challenge, but also from support. It is important that those around you also uplift you, provide encouragement, and model the qualities you aspire to. The right social environment balances challenge with kindness and inspiration. These individuals act as mirrors, reflecting back your strengths and potential, even when your own confidence falters. They create a sense of belonging and purpose, reminding you that your efforts matter and that you are part of something larger than yourself. Surrounding yourself with people who elevate you also means engaging in communities or networks that align with your values and goals. Whether it is a professional group, a creative circle, a spiritual community, or simply a tight-knit group of friends committed to growth, these affiliations provide resources, ideas, and opportunities that fuel your journey. They expose you to new perspectives and push you to expand your horizons. This kind of social capital is invaluable because it creates momentum. You move faster and farther when propelled by collective energy. Furthermore, the influence of others on your mindset cannot be overstated. Humans are wired for social learning. We imitate behaviors, adopt attitudes, and absorb emotional tones from those around us. If your circle embodies determination, discipline, and integrity, these qualities will become part of your own character. If they embody cynicism, lethargy, or dishonesty, these will likewise take root. Therefore, your choice of company is a strategic decision that directly impacts your ability to stay hot and powerful. It is also necessary to periodically reevaluate your relationships. Some people who once served as positive influences may become stagnant or even toxic over time. This is not a failure on anyone's part, but a natural evolution of life paths. Maintaining boundaries, even in friendships and family relationships, is critical to protect your growth. Sometimes walking away from certain connections is necessary, not out of spite, but out of respect for your own trajectory. In cultivating this environment, be prepared to also be the kind of person who challenges and elevates others. Leadership in this context is reciprocal. When you hold yourself accountable and push your peers toward excellence, you contribute to a culture of high achievement and mutual respect. This dynamic elevates everyone involved, creating a powerful network of growth and support. In summary, surrounding yourself with people who challenge and elevate you is a cornerstone of lasting power. It keeps you sharp, motivated, and aligned with your highest goals. It creates a fertile ground for resilience and creativity. And ultimately, it reminds you that you do not walk this path alone. Strengthened by connection, you become exponentially more capable of staying hot and powerful in every aspect of your life. Ladies and gentlemen, to stay hot and powerful is not a fleeting ambition or a superficial quest. It is a disciplined, ongoing commitment to yourself and your life's highest potential. It requires radical responsibility, firm boundaries, meaningful purpose, emotional resilience, and a tribe that elevates you. These are not just tips. They are pillars on which you build a life of strength, clarity, and impact. Remember, power is not given. It is earned, cultivated, and fiercely protected. It demands courage to face uncomfortable truths, the wisdom to make difficult choices, and the relentless drive to keep growing even when the world pushes back. So stand firm. Take these principles not as mere advice, but as a call to action. Let them ignite a fire within you that refuses to be extinguished. Because when you do this, when you take ownership, set your limits, pursue meaning, build resilience, and surround yourself with greatness, you become unstoppable. You become the master of your fate, the architect of your future, and the embodiment of true power. Stay hot, stay powerful,
The world is waiting for what only you can bring.